Ladies and gentlemen, Basil and Will with Grayson Hobby, and today we are going to show you how to take your older 4-in-1 radio from RadioMaster Jumper Futaba and upgrade it to the new ELRS systems.
So guys, basically whether you have a standalone newer radio that has ELRS in it, which is newer on the market, or an older radio like this, you can add an ELRS module.
Alright, so in this video we're going to show you how to install the external module into the RadioMaster.
I'm going to show you guys on a radio that has the newer firmware, Edge TX. I'm going to show you one on OpenTX, and I'm going to show you on a really old radio here that hasn't been used in over a year.
Jumper.
Yeah, with basically running the module itself. So
then we're going to bind it up to the Johnny 5 from DarwinFPV. Alright guys, if you ever soldered on your power leads backwards, positive to negative, negative to the positive, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm already subscribed.
Yeah, he's not the subscriber, he's the founder.
Alright, well, ELRS, that's been our last few videos here. What is it?
Express LRS is basically an open source version of like your Tracer, Crossfire, Ghost, etc. It's running on the 2.4 gigahertz platform. There is a 900 megahertz as well. We're going to focus on the 2.4. Free Sky receiver, Spectrum, and all that. Their latency is in like mid-20s to 40 millisecond latency, if I remember right. These ELRS has the ability to transmit with a latency of 6.5 milliseconds. You're just going to feel more connected. And also with this, the Express LRS has a really good signal strength on it. The more powerful modules, so you're going to get longer distance without fail-safes, without dropouts, etc. So you're going to get better signal strength. It's more reliable. Downside is you're limited to 12 channels, but for drones and all that, that's kind of overkill anyway. You're able to get even a fancy OLED module, driven module, and a receiver for less than the cost of just like a Crossfire basic module.
ELRS is for 5-inch quads and larger. Also, they have them for the micro-sized quads.
Yeah, I mean, you could put it on an inductrix size quad if you want.
All right, so what we have here is the TX16S. This is my personal radio. We are going to put the betafpv ELRS Express module in the back of it. So it's literally easy as popping the cover off, taking the module with the antenna on it, sign in. Make sure you put that on straight. Don't put it like that. Don't put it like, bent, because you don't want to bend the pins inside, but you'll put it in and it clicks in and we're in. To activate the actual module though, you will have to go into the radio, and I'm still OpenTX on this particular radio here.
Switch warning.
So you're going to go into your model. You will turn off the internal, turn on the external to Crossfire, and then from there you'll see the external module will be on. And this particular, the betafpv module has an OLED screen, which is really nice, so you can actually do the Lewis script essentially on the back of it. So as long as you have Crossfire output access on your radio, you can use it. It is recommended to have the Express LRS Lewis script installed because there's more features, packet information, etc. I guess it's more with the telemetry on that. But as far as being able to do it, as long as you can turn on the Crossfire option, if you have a modern TX16S or if you have something with Edge TX, it's already flashed. 2.4.0 on Edge TX. On OpenTX, it's 2.3.12, I think is the firmware. I'm trying to remember numbers and it's too much. But basically, as long as you have the newer firmware and all that, you'll be okay, which hopefully you're using OpenTX radio to its full potential and updating the firmware, unlike I am, because this has got too many models on it that I don't feel like changing at the moment.
All right, so we have a betafpv module. Yeah. Will it work with a RadioMaster?
Yeah, the ELRS modules, as long as it's running the same firmware, the Express LRS firmware, can be flashed. This one I put a EP1 from RadioMaster in it. I just put the little short antenna on there. As far as pairing
Hold on, what quad is that though?
This is the Johnny 5 from DarwinFPV.
Okay, 5-inch quad.
Yeah. Okay. Basically the binding is pretty, let's see if I can get both of these in the picture here.
Notice props are off. Always fine with props off.
But so I do have the Lewis script on this radio, so in order to do it, I'll just hit the system key. And oh, guess what? I don't actually on this one. Ha! Okay, funny story. It is not on this one, so let me show you the one that is installed. So on this one, my radio actually does not have the Express ELRS Express LRS Lewis grips on there that you normally go to, and I'll show you how to do that with the other radio that I do have it on. But for this, we're going to do the basic method. This would also be the same method if you did not have Express LRS on, or if you had like a Futaba radio or something with a module bay, older FreeSky radios, etc. In order to bind this guy, we're going to get into the menu here, and I'll show you guys what we're looking at. Up a little higher here, but we're going to go down. We're going to go down to the bind in order to get the receiver into bind without any pairing codes. But basically, it's power cycle it 3 times, on, and then it puts it in. Oh, 1, 2, 3. All right, so we got it in pairing mode. Here, and then you're going to push the bind button right there.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
And that's as easy as it is. You don't have any buttons to push or anything like that on this particular receiver. I believe there still is some ELRS ones that have a bind button. Not as popular anymore, it seems like, because of the pairing codes that you can do through the Wi-Fi apps and stuff like that.
So that's easy as pie.
But yeah, it's bound. It's pretty much all you need. All right, guys. Now, one thing I want to show you is in the newer software. So if you got a brand new Mark II RadioMaster radio, they are going to have the firmware already flashed on it. So this is a Bardwell edition. It does have ELRS in it, but we're going to pretend this is a 4.1 because we're still using the external module anyway. So it doesn't really matter, but we're going to just install it like we did before. Clicked in. Yep. Turn it back over. Turn on the radio. So on that one, we're going to go System, down to the Lewis Grip Express LRS. And then this is kind of what's on the screen on the backside in a way. It doesn't have all the features, but
It's kind of like how the old Crossfire used to be.
yeah, it pretty much is an open source Crossfire is what we're doing, but it's 2.4 in this particular style. So again, we're just going to go 1, 2, 3 power cycles, and then bind. And pretty much that's it. That's literally all there is to it. Let me exit out of this. Turn it off here and you'll see the signal loss. Power it back on.
There it is. And obviously
So, and I'm using the bind buddy we have here just because it makes it easier than plugging the battery in and out, because I was trying not to move it for the video. You can literally just take the battery. If you wire up your receiver on a flight controller, it is capable of powering off USB. You could literally just cycle the USB, or if you have an external USB, push a button on that one. But you could power cycle through USB also. It's just a matter of powering the receiver up and down, on and off 3 times. Actually, I prefer the USB method myself, just because I have a little push button on my external thing.
Don't get mad at me now.
Oh shit, here we go.
Will it work with a jumper, the old jumper?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of going with the saying of the older stuff. This is also running OpenTX. This is my old T16 here. Go ahead and turn this guy off. Now this one I know has outdated firmware on it because I have not used this radio in probably a year.
Okay, so
Hopefully, I think I charged it.
we did not practice this beforehand.
Oh no, it's been used before.
No,
I had a Crossfire in it.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Oh, yeah, this had Crossfire in it. So it's probably still on it actually. Yeah, you'll see it doesn't have any Lewis grips. Nope.
So
This
you have
is,
to do it the
what
same
is
way.
this running even?
The other one.
2314. So this is a version, excuse me, recent enough. It is supported. 2.3.12 is actually enough, but basically you just need that Crossfire right there.
Okay.
Capability.
So you do the same way you turn over.
Yeah,
or
so
turn on the external module.
on this one, yeah, we're gonna have to say I'm in the model here. Select model. Sure, why not? It's been a while since I've used the buttons on this one.
Putting Will on the spot on this one.
Internal RF off, external Crossfire. Yeah, I think last time I used this, I actually had a Crossfire in it. Let's go back to Crossfire external, and then from there, we'll just flip it over and use the backside.
Hey, it works, yeah.
And you can install the Lewis script. It's right on their ELRS website and all that. If you get the betafpv module, they actually have a link to it as well. But it'll make it easier so you don't have to turn it over, push buttons, stuff like that. But on this one, 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I saw that double flash yet. And you just go to bind. And this is the Express LRS, the newer Express LRS. You short tap if it's the older firmware on this module, which is not what we have. You would have to long press it, but this is the newer one. And you would want to make sure you update the firmware. If somehow you got the older firmware, you'd want to update it and keep the receivers consistent. But yeah, that's bound right there and good to go. I believe we should see, yep, telemetry in that. Let's turn it power cycle.
Telemetry lost.
Wow. That's
so it is there. Oh, I need to charge that radio.
Telemetry recovered.
But yeah, pretty much the Express LRS, it's the whole point of Express LRS is to have more a better signal. It's kind of an open source alternative to Tracer, Ghost, you know, Crossfire, stuff like that, but it's running on 2.4. There is a 900 megahertz version. We carry the 2.4. It seems to be more popular. I think they are still claiming up to like a 10 kilometer range with the 500 milliwatt output or something like that. This particular module that we have goes up to 1,000. I think with 1,000 you're supposed to run the external power as well, which if you're running, not on this one, but if you have the RadioMaster with the bigger battery, you can just plug it in there. This does not take a 3-cell battery. You have to run 2-cell. 3-cell will damage it. It does have a USB-C right there for updating the firmware. There is, going over the module itself, there is a couple dip switches on the bottom. I'll pull this out and show you. So on the back side, there's some dip switches on this model. The dip switches are for software update, for backpack update, I think it was called. And then the current position right now is for the normal operation of the module. So you'll flip some off, turn the other ones on if you're updating the firmware. I'm guessing that's just putting it in DFU mode for flashing and stuff like that is what that the update module is. But other than that, it's all inclusive there. I believe this is an external power for like Spectrum and stuff like that. I could be wrong. Well, no, it's just another connector there. It's for the piggyback. But yeah, that's pretty much the module in a nutshell there. It's all there. This has the heat sink in it. It's got the RGB fan in it to cool it. It's pretty cool. Not going to break the bank either. This is more powerful than what you would get with this version. This is only 250 milliwatt capable. This one is up to 1 watt. Do you really need it? Hard to say. I don't fly that far, so I never have needed anything like that. But it is a nice peace of mind for stronger signal strength.